Hey friends, what's going on? How you doing? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. Thomas Tuchel has spoken, ladies and gentlemen. Pre-match press conference talked about all sorts of interesting gear. Injuries, sadly. Saul Niguez, how he's been chasing the player for a long time. Very, very interesting indeed. We're going to talk about what he said, latest Chelsea news, preview the Aston Villa game, and build a starting lineup together. Ooh, that's going to be fun, innit, friends? Drop a like if you want to show your support. Hey, if you're enjoying this, guys, with me, this journey, you and I, talking about football in Chelsea, I appreciate everyone who supports the channel by dropping said like, and of course, you, mate, watching this right now, you are welcome to subscribe to Football Therapy and join the, I'd say the movement, but it's not a movement, the YouTube channel. Consider following me on Instagram for exclusive and sensual and exciting nudes. I actually think I'm very close to 15,000, so it's a humble small community on Instagram. But you can be one of my followers and friends. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? Alright, let's talk about this. First of all, injuries. Two notable injuries. One being Kante Pulisic, who apparently walked in on crutches, so saith Thomas Tuchel. Obviously, he had an injury with the US men's national team, and will be out for like 12 days or something before training, if memory serves. But yeah, to be on crutches is pretty serious. Before we talk about a little bit more of other players and stuff, I do worry about Kante Pulisic. I think his injury record for Dortmund wasn't great, but at Chelsea it's been so disappointing, and not he's been disappointing, the injuries have been disappointing, because boy, what a player that's in there, like a potential player. He was looking for a while for Chelsea, and for Frank Lampard's Chelsea, like he was going to be talismanic. Some like great goals and moments where he just lit up the pitch. And, just niggling injuries, man. They just seem to hold him back. He's still so young. Was he 21, 22? Feels like Kante Pulisic has been around a while, if you include his Dortmund days as well. But, yeah, it's sad, man. Frustrating. I do hope he can, like, sort it out, settle into his body a bit more, and just learn what he can and can't do to keep some sort of long-term longevity with form and as well as playing. So that's sad. N'Golo Kante is out as well. Apparently it's the same injury that he endured in the Super Cup, so early doors, and of course last game out he did a little bit of the same ankle endured a little bit of a twist when he got fouled or tackled. So that's annoying. And hopefully they're managing N'Golo Kante well to bring him in, and again bring him in like safely and securely. We've got to navigate N'Golo Kante at Chelsea very, very carefully moving forwards. He's never been the same since that final, the Europa League final, where he probably shouldn't have played, did play, put in an amazing performance, and he's never been the same. Sad, anyway, but, you know, you can still put in banging performances. We just got to manage him and make sure he doesn't get injured more, or certainly aggravate or exacerbate his injuries. Which brings us on to another midfielder that we're all very, very excited about, Saul. Now, Tuchel was asked about Saul, and he said he has been fighting, in his words, for Saul for many, many years. Interesting. Fighting for Saul for many, many years. Basically, probably indicating at least his whole PSG tenure. He's been trying to sign Saul from Atletico Madrid, which really is positive, because not only has he finally got this midfielder cover that he so needs, and spoke about on today's press conference, as well as previous press conferences and interviews, talking about needing that another elite option in the midfield, more additional cover. You obviously get that in the form of Saul, but the fact how he personally has been chasing him for years and years, and now he's got him, and if he wants, he can buy him for a really reasonable price. I think his buyout clause is like £35 million. Pretty much the exact same situation of Mateo Kovacic, the loan, with I think the exact same buyout clause too. He spoke about that and said, look, we'll need to see for both the player and us if it's a good fit, and if it is a good fit, yeah, we'll do this thing, baby. We're going to make it a permanent. He did speak about Billy Gilmour for a little bit, which is positive, and I think, regardless of his opinion, I think if he's wanted Saul for years, and now he's got him, and he's mid-20s, and he's elite. He's good to go. We'll talk about if he could feature in like about a minute when we do this pre-match predicted lineup, which is going to be a lot of fun. He also talked about Romelu Lukaku, no injury whatsoever. Of course, there was the injury scare information when Lukaku said he needed a scan in his thigh, something minor, but he was fine. And Tuchel absolutely poured cold water on that. So yeah, he's fine, mate. He's training, no injuries, all good to go. Shout out to Olivier once again in the press conference, asking interesting questions. Asked about Timo Werner and how could we expect to see him lining up next to Romelu Lukaku? Would that be a good fit for both of them? To which Thomas Tuchel responded, yes, absolutely. We're pleased Timo scored. Of course, Timo scored 3 goals, 3 games, 1 a game, plus an assist in the international break, as well as missing a pretty big old sitter. Which feels like, is that always going to happen? But, he talked about, absolutely, there'll be games where he plays next to Romelu Lukaku and they'll make each other better. They both like playing off sort of similar counterparts of the profile of player in terms of, he said Timo likes a reference point, a reference striker, and absolutely, of course, Romelu Lukaku is that for Chelsea. And Lukaku can play off a sort of little man, combination. So, yeah. Lots to talk about there. He, of course, spoke about the sort of more political stuff about Thiago Silva, and everyone just sort of... I'm not going to go into that, really, because everyone shrugged their shoulders. Like, yeah, it's silly, isn't it? This whole Brazilian player thing, but let's look at it. Let's build a lineup, because this is going to be fun. I'm using foothead.com to build this. I'm going for a 3-4-3. This apparently is a 3-4-2-1, but the left forward and right forward. There should be more number 10s, really, shouldn't they? Let me just see if there's a more appropriate formation. This is pretty much the closest. 3-4-2-1, unless I do a 2-striker system, which I suppose you could do. Let's see. Let's start and see how we feel, because I've got an idea in my head. Of course, I was going to say, of course, we start with Edouard Mendy, but to be honest, I'm not sure we do start with Edouard Mendy, because I heard on the Straight Out of Cobham podcast, I think it was, when they were talked about, maybe Kepa could start because he's been at the training ground, all week. But I don't know, Mendy has looked pretty good in those like training videos. I think he's probably good to go, and oh my word, he needs an updated FIFA card. This is pretty straightforward. Christensen is going to start in the middle because of Thiago Silva. I think any other situation, Thiago Silva would have started, but because he can't play, he can't play. Similarly, I don't think we got much of a choice, but then to play Rudiger at left centre-back, provided he's good to go, which I imagine he is. Because Reece James is banned for 1 game, only 1 game, not 3 from his red card because it wasn't dangerous play. We can expect Cesar Azpilicueta to play right wing backs and, absolutely trusted Chalobah to play right centre back. Jeez, that card needs to be sorted out. So, spoiler there, I don't think Callum Hudson-Odoi is going to start, sadly. Although I'd be happy to see him, I'm just trying to predict what's going to happen here. I think he's going to want to protect against counter-attacks, and I think he's going to go with Cesar Azpilicueta. I do think finally, and I keep saying this, I think Chilwell might finally get a start against Aston Villa. Look, he's got a running 97 card here on FIFA. I do think he'll finally get a start. Touch wood. I mean, Alonso's been great. Long may it continue. If he plays well, I think he'll continue. Now, midfield. Of course, Kante's injured. Jorginho and Kovacic are not injured. I think there might be a fatigue thing. The fact how Saul has been at Chelsea, at Cobham, training for a long time now, I think personally he might start this game for fatigue issues. I mean, obviously a generic situation would be you'd make his debut off the bench. Why not? Great. But the fact is, I think Kovacic might start, and he did say something in the press conference. Thomas Tuchel, he did say, when he was speaking about Saul, he spoke about who he can play well with, and he started with Kovacic. Now, I don't want to get too, psychoanalytical here, but I think, why did he start with Kovacic rather than Kante and Jorginho? And I thought maybe he's planning to play them together, and I thought a little bit further. They both speak Spanish, of course. Saul can only really speak Spanish at the moment, And if Cesar Azpilicueta's at right wing back, Spanish link, and of course Mateo Kovacic speaks Spanish. He was a Real Madrid player for a long, long time. Jorginho doesn't speak Spanish. Kante's injured. I have put 2 and 2 together and made Saul. I think he could start, genuinely, a midfield 2 with Mateo Kovacic. Yeah, we know Romelu Lukaku is going to start. Needs a Chelsea card, of course. He absolutely is going to start. Now, this is probably a more like difficult bit as well. Who's going to start with Lukaku? A lot of people are calling for Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's been training, of course, and yeah, that's true. Werner, Mount, of course, is like usually first name on the team sheet for the front three before Lukaku. It was always Mason Mount. They've all played. Mount, Havertz, and Werner have all played a lot of international football. So I wanted to get to this point and think about it a little bit more. It is Aston Villa, and they haven't been great. So maybe this is Callum Hudson-Odoi's chance to play. Maybe. I'm going to put him in. I'm going to put Hudson-Odoi in. At his favoured left wing, where he plays better, he can cut in on his right foot, which leaves the right forward. I am going to start the always fit Mason Mount. And that completes my starting 11. So Edouard Mendy in goal, a back three of Rudiger, Christensen, and Trevor Chalobah. A Spanish-speaking midfield engine room of Kovacic and Saul. Saul, of course, doing a lot of training at Cobham, hopefully preparing for this particular opponent. Again, this is just theory. This could all be wrong, of course. Another Spanish-speaking person on the other side of him in Cesar Azpilicueta. Chilwell, again, it feels like a wild card, despite him being the last time he played a game for Chelsea. He was magnificent in the European Cup final, which seems mental. I guess it's a fitness thing. I'm still speculating, but I guess it's a fitness thing. And then Mason Mount, of course, it isn't like a peculiar starter at all in the front three of Tuchel or indeed England's system. But neither is Lukaku, but wild card, maybe Hudson-Odoi and Chilwell, a little bit wild card. But there's a lot of service there. Of course, Mount and Hudson-Odoi could swap. So Chilwell can put in crosses for Lukaku on the left. Hudson-Odoi can put in crosses for Lukaku on the right. Azpilicueta will probably stay a bit deeper anyway. So it could be a sort of asymmetrical system there. And yeah, I think that's pretty good. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Do you think that's a likely lineup? Could you see those players starting the game? Could you see it coming to pass? Let me know. And let's start the conversation down in the comments section below, friends. If you have enjoyed the content and me talking Chelsea with you, consider dropping a like on the ruddy thing. Let's see if we can get 3,000 likes on this video. That would be excellent. And yeah, go tip me over the edge on 15,000 followers on Instagram for those sweet, sweet nudes. Alright then, friends. That's it from me. Enjoy the football, and I'll see you later.